Hey, Tom, can you hear me?
Yeah, let me turn my volume up a little bit here.
Hey, Tom, can you hear me, man?
Yeah, give me 1 second here. It's not coming
Okay.
through.
Make sure I hit record. All right, just give me some verify.
You did. It says recording.
I can't see that part. Blind.
See what the problem is. Hold on 1 second.
That TV's a game changer. It's awesome.
Yeah, I might move it to where we move up a little bit though.
Good. To we get a little closer.
Mhm.
Or Zoom took a dump. Let me know.
Hmm.
Try it now. Okay, sounds good.
Might need a blanket. It's a little chilly in the house.
Yeah.
Or I just got done running.
That and came from the email.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Please restart. Sorry, so sorry. Give me a second. Made a cartoon. Made a cartoon of me. That picture, it looks like a kind of a sweet little girl. Because look at Johnny. She did want to Johnny too. Kind of like B-Bird does, isn't it? Oh, that's like when shit pops up over doing it, doesn't record it.
Yeah, I always worry that you can hear the notification
Should I
though.
take out turn off Facebook? Turn off. I want to see Facebook pulled up.
I wonder if you could just silence those so it still pops up, but it don't,
Yeah,
you know.
I'm sure you can get into settings and do it off Facebook.
Mhm.
That webcam is a wide angle.
Mhm.
Is it like known? Is it like a special wide angle webcam or just bought like that? I remember all webcams at work having that kind of angle.
What's up, guys?
Hey, there you
Hey,
are.
sorry about that. My computer decided it'd be a good time to do an update. So
Oh, I hate that shit.
Not Murphy's Law. What do you call it? Where
oh yeah,
That's
that's
Murphy-
Murphy's law.
That's Murphy's
Oh,
Law.
okay,
That's Murphy's Law.
Everything that can't go wrong will go wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Technology.
I don't see your face, Tom. Are you on purpose? Or
Yeah,
you
give me
trying to-
just a,
Oh,
give me
okay.
just a minute.
Thought you might be trying to
Sorry.
hide from us.
No. What's up, guys? Nice to meet
Hey,
you.
man. Dude, thank you so much for coming on with us, brother. I know it's after 9 o'clock over there in Georgia time, so I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no problem. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Oh man, I love your show. As you know, I'm always talking shit to Kurt on Twitter, and it's a fun
Oh, yeah.
show. It's a fun show, and it reminds me a lot of the military because when we deploy, like when you deployed in the Army, you only have so many hours you can work. The rest of the time, you're just fucking with each other.
Busting balls. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly. And that's what I think of when I hear you and Kurt interact with each other. Except it's with love, brotherly love, and it's always entertaining.
Well, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man. So go ahead, Jamie. I'll give them how it goes.
Yeah, so we just count down 3, 2, 1. That's my cue to cut everything and start the intro. We always do our little introduction. I don't know if we're going to change it or not for season 3, but I guess as far as this goes, we'll leave it as is.
Yeah.
Because we haven't discussed that yet. But we'll just do our little introduction. We acknowledge you as our guest for the show, and then we do the disclaimer. Heath does his corny joke, and then we'll lead into you introducing yourself.
Sounds good.
And then
You guys can hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you
Yeah.
perfect. How about us?
Yeah, yeah, great. Sound
And
good.
then at the beginning, I'll take a little break for a word from our sponsors, which is of course Podgo, because I got that from you guys.
Let's
and
go.
good to go.
Yeah.
Wherever you are. You ready? You ready, Tom?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the E14 podcast season 3. Woo-hoo.
Whoop whoop.
I'm Jamie Britt.
And I'm Heath Britt.
And together we're E14. And today with us, we have
Tom from the Half Hour Bros podcast. Welcome, Tom.
Hey guys, thanks for having me in.
Our pleasure, man. Thanks for being out here with us.
Yeah, before we get started, let me do a quick disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of our own and not the United States Navy or the United States Army or our respective commands.
You know what that means?
We're going to take this into season 3. Go ahead.
You can take it or leave it. It's my shit,
We were
Tom.
supposed to leave that in the past seasons.
No, I'm keeping it. I got a shirt that says it, so I'm keeping that shit.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah. Go
All
ahead.
right. Hey, Tom, man, thanks for joining us, man. Tell us a little about yourself, brother.
Yeah. Hey guys. Again, thanks for having me on. My name's Tom. I do a little show with my brother, Half Hour Bros podcast. Thanks so much for plugging that out there. Just a show with me and my brother, really just shooting the breeze, talking about life, kind of what's going on. We review some different, beers and alcoholic drinks, review some movies, and just talk about life, and usually get an argument and hijinks ensue and all that kind of stuff. So we have a good time though. Definitely go check it out.
Yeah, it's a great show. I recommend that. And like I said, for our sailor listeners out there, it's just like being on the ship or being on deployment and talking shit when you don't have nothing else to do, because that's what they do. And it warms my heart to hear brotherly love talking shit like
That
the
is
military.
the highest form of respect. And when Heath hears other shit talkers, that is like literally his his ears perk up. He's fangirling right now
I
because
am.
he's such
I'm a
a big
fan.
fan of y'all's show.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And he's like, you gotta hear him. All they do is talk shit. And I'm like,
We're gonna have our parents on one day, and you guys are gonna see the genesis of all the shit talking, because it just really comes from growing up with them. And I mean, they kept it loose around the house, and we always just did too. I mean, really, the only thing missing on the show when we're shooting the breeze is just a deck of cards or some dominoes or something.
Right.
It feels
Right.
like you're just hanging out back, just on your front porch or something.
Definitely. I picture this. Where do y'all record at?
We recorded at my brother's house, Kurt's house.
Oh, at Kurt's house. So I picture you showing up to record and Kurt's still in his freaking bathrobe, freaking just coming off a drunken stupor. Hey, let's record. Oh, yes. Whatever.
Yeah, picture the dude from The Big Lebowski. That's kind of what he looks like when you show up. He's not here for a long time. He's just here for a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Right. I like it when you guys are doing Jeopardy or something and he's losing. He gets all butthurt.
He still thinks I rigged that last game. You guys out there will have to go check it out if you haven't heard it yet.
Oh, I heard it.
Yeah. If your listeners haven't yet, check that out. Him and I doing Jeopardy is pretty funny.
It's pretty good. Is that something y'all did growing up? Watch a lot of Jeopardy on TV?
Gosh, man, Wheel of Fortune to be on or something, or, Jeopardy at night. And he kind of fancies himself a little bit of a pop trivia guru, but I smoke his ass pretty regularly.
Yeah, you held your own, man. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, he did good. I gave him
really
fucking
good.
lollipop questions though, and he came at me with the heat, and I still won. So
Yeah, yeah, he did. Have you watched his damn car yet?
no, hell no. And look, we haven't still figured out the bet yet, because he thinks I'm taking it in one of these places that's going to be like $400 where they fully detail your vehicle. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to run it through one of these auto places over here. I don't know what he's talking about.
You
Express lane.
drive, we wash. Have you ever seen those old ones at the beach where it's like water
Yeah.
hoses connected and you drive
That's
forward
right.
and backward?
That's great. That's awesome. So, we have something in common. We're all veterans here, right? You did some Army time.
Yes, sir. The bell rang on 9/11, and I'm happy to say I answered it. I had a couple buddies that went in around the same time, and just I was 19-year-old, my first year of college. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life or anything, so I saw 9/11 and was like, this is one of those moments where it's like, go do something about it. Like, that was a terrible, tragic event.
Yeah.
So me and many other brave service members took the, raised their hands and took the oath. And it's something I take very seriously. And I just wish that the government would take care of treating its veterans as seriously as the
Yeah.
veterans take serving their country. And I think that's really what's kind of fallen short a lot for
Right.
vets.
Right. I think I like to say it's getting better. I think, and depending on where you're at, it is getting better. I've heard good stories and bad stories about these vets. A lot of Army vets we talked
Mhm.
to during that To Hell with the Stigma
Mhm.
series we did on mental health. And I know you're a proponent of mental health. I've heard you mention it a couple times in y'all's
Absolutely.
podcast. And some, like if we talk to Texas boys that served in the Army or military, they have a lot of good things to say about the VA. Other people from somewhere else, not so good. I guess it depends on where you're at.
Yeah, I think if you're close to a big installation, I'm guessing those are like Fort Hood guys, you know.
Yeah.
If you're close to a big installation, I think you do get a lot of support. You kind of start to go out of your way to get it.
Yeah.
Out here in Georgia, we got Fort obviously in Savannah, but we have a big VA center in Dublin,
Oh, wow.
Georgia, which is
Okay.
kind of in between Macon to Savannah. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Georgia.
A little bit.
You take 16 down, you run into Dublin, and it's the biggest VA hospital, in this area.
Right.
And, I mean, I guess they do an okay job. Maybe it just depends on who you go and see. But then again, you see stories about guys blowing their brains out in the parking lot of that
Right.
hospital.
Right.
Right.
So,
It's true. You
I
never
don't know.
But you never know what people are going through. Sometimes them demons get big, though,
Mhm.
Big, very big.
Yeah.
They hold on tight.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your experience. How long did you do? Where'd you go?
Oh, yeah, sure. So, right after 9/11 joined, went to Fort Benning, where they had a new program where I guess they had so many people enlist. They did a new program there for they combined your basic and your airborne back to back.
Oh, wow.
So I went and did basic training at Fort Benning and 2002. Did airborne right after, and then they shipped me off to Sierra Vista, Arizona. I did my advanced training at Fort Huachuca in military intelligence. Then after that, got sent straight to the 519th MI Battalion, attached to the 82nd Airborne in Fort Bragg. Did probably about 2 years there, including my first deployment. We rolled over in 03 with the invasion to Iraq. That didn't last long, as you guys know.
Mhm.
Once that was over, they were looking for people to go to Afghanistan. So I volunteered to go do that, did 18 months there. Then came home and just, was kind of like, I don't know what to do, bounced around a little bit to some different bases. Fort Campbell, went to Hawaii for a little bit, did a couple different schools. And it was getting time to get out. And I asked them, if they'd recommend me to go to warrant officer school. I wanted to fly helicopters for whatever reason. I don't know. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Right. Right.
And everything was set up, paperwork was ready to go. And then they told me I had to go do 2 years in Korea first. And so I got out. I had met my future wife at the time, and was not really looking to, go anywhere else or do any other kind of stuff. So that was basically the end. It was 8 years total,
Okay.
a couple deployments, and then actually went back over as a civilian, funny enough, to Iraq for almost 18 months. That was in 09. Yeah, it was in it was 10 and 11. But yeah, just
Oh, wow.
kind of a crazy story. And now I work for, just some regular company, working in the IT department,
Okay.
just being a regular civilian.
Regular civilian with a wild story. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a lot of
yeah.
stuff in 8 years that you accomplished.
Definitely.
Wow.
Definitely. That's awesome, man. That, listen to your show, you would never know all that. Cause in the show, you're in the Army, you're at one time, your clothes were thrown on a tree outside your barracks room or something
Oh
like
God,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was in
Yeah.
Arizona. Yeah, that was Fort Huachuca. That was fun.
Yeah, I remember you telling the story about that to you when you and your brother are on, and so you don't know until you ask, like, what the details about your experience in the Army, and that sounds like you had a lot of experiences.
Yeah, I had a good time. I enjoyed it. I probably would have stayed in. I mean, I look at it now and I'm like, wow, it's 2021. I mean, that's 20 years if I would have stayed in,
Yeah,
Right.
But I enjoyed it. I don't have any regrets. And I think you guys probably run into this too. The ones that don't really talk about it a lot are the ones that aren't kind of BSing you.
right.
Mhm.
I've run
No,
into
you're
so
right.
many guys that have a million stories that you don't really even ask them for any of them, and kind of makes me wonder about the validity of it sometimes. But I think I reveal little things here and there that when when somebody asks me, but I'm not usually one to volunteer that information.
Right, right.
Yeah.
It's like the real badasses. You don't have to
Like
talk.
they say that about
No.
the Navy SEAls, you know, the
Oh,
ones, the young ones that haven't been on a deployment. Oh, I'm a SEAL. But the older
Right.
ones that have been through the shit, you wouldn't even know they're a Navy SEAL, you know?
Now they're sitting next to you in the mess hall. You have no idea that
Right.
guy's
No
what he's
clue.
been through.
And that goes with the Rangers or anybody in the special
Oh,
forces.
yeah.
I met Rangers on the ship. They used to come on a ship with us, and great bunch of guys, super humble, and just proud to serve the country. It's
Mhm.
like you did, But what you and Kurt, what decided y'all? When did y'all start the podcast, and what sparked that?
Well, it's funny enough. This kind of ties in. I was looking at your Twitter page recently, and I saw that you shared something about a wrestling podcast. Are you a wrestling fan?
Yes, it's my guilty pleasure.
Hey, no, look. Hey, I saw a GIF of Britt Baker, the AEW Women's Champ,
Yeah,
and I was like, wow, damn, we got more in common than I thought. But I say that because my brother-in-law, him and a buddy of his, were wanting to do a wrestling podcast.
Oh,
And
cool.
we always talk. We had a little group chat. We talk about wrestling. We watch AEW, and we text about it and stuff. And I was talking to Curtis about it, and it was getting kind of serious. And he goes, "Well, you and me could do a podcast." And I was like, "Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know who would listen to it, but yeah, I mean, we could, get a couple mics and be idiots for a little bit of time on a podcast." But it just kind of happened from there. And the other podcast didn't really get off the ground. It's still an idea, possibly. Right. I don't know if it'll happen one day or not, but here we are. It's been over a year. We got almost 70 episodes. We're getting pretty close. And
holy shit.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. We've had a blast. It's been great. And with COVID and everything, it was just kind of a way to take our mind off all of that. If nothing else, I mean, I feel like it really just helped me mentally get, wrap my mind around COVID, or just be able to help process a lot of things going on in the world.
Yeah. And who had better do it with than your brother,
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. I had to carry him a lot, but it's all right. No,
I know.
He talks junk, but he really does do a lot for that podcast, for our podcast. He absolutely does. I'd say 90% of the heavy lifting as far as all the technical stuff. Right. I just try to make sure we got something funny to talk about for a half an hour, and keep it interesting.
And I like that it's a half an hour, because that's a commute.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I love it because I can listen to y'all's show and be at work, and listen to something else on the way back. I can catch up with y'all stuff really easily.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we thought at the beginning with do you want to do an hour? Do you want to just not put a time limit on it? I told him, when I was commuting to the office, we still haven't returned to the office yet. I've been working at home since, end of March 2020.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I told him, I said, I really enjoy the podcast. I kind of keep a pretty tight time limit for the same reason. You're riding down the road, something fun to listen to. When you get into the office, you don't want to be, hanging on the last 10 or 15 minutes of something.
Right.
Or whatever. But yeah, we kind of kept that in mind.
I got a question for you. Did you listen to podcasts before you started your podcast?
Oh yeah, I love podcasts.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh really? Okay.
Never.
We didn't even know what we were really getting into. That's okay. What's funny about it. Yeah.
I had no clue. Well, like, the little Apple podcast. You have an iPhone? I didn't know what the hell that was until I started a podcast.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thought it was a purple button.
Yeah. It was a purple thing.
You probably tried to delete it when you first got your phone.
I think I might have a couple times, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Tom.
I was just going to say, I felt like I knew about podcasts from listening to them, but you guys can attest to this. When you get into it, you find out quickly. You're like, damn, there's layers to this. There's levels,
Absolutely.
Even the equipment and all that stuff, just trying to be creative and think of things that people would want to listen to or talk about, but it's fun though. I think it's a kind of a creative outlet.
I think it's great, but you got to be always on your toes, trying to keep up with ideas. And it's kind of stressful, right? I mean, a little bit.
It can be. It can be. For anybody who's been in the military though, it's so funny because, what somebody else equates to stress, we might just kind of shrug our shoulders a little bit.
Right. Exactly.
I try not to break this card out at work all the time, but we'll be in a meeting or something and something will go bad. I don't know. somebody's PowerPoint presentation crashed or some shit. And, I'm just like, it's really not a problem. Okay.
Yeah.
When you're,
Planes
when you're
aren't
pinned,
crashing.
right. When you're pinned down somewhere, under sniper fire or something,
Yeah.
and you're in the middle of nowhere, that might be a little bit more of a problem, but
Right.
it's all about perspective. I get it. So
It is like, I know, I work in the IT field myself, right?
Oh, nice.
In the Navy, N6, which I think in the Army would be S6.
Oh, yeah.
So I work for Naval Special Warfare, and oh my goodness, always with the VTCs and crap, right? And we're stressing that VTC, damn it, because we got old equipment, we're trying to get it updated, but you know how that goes.
That's video,
Oh, yeah.
video conference for our listeners.
Yeah, video teleconference. So you got video and audio, right?
Mhm.
And you think it's the end of the world if that shit don't come up when they want it to. But at the end of the day, it's like, you guys have been through hell, a lot of y'all. Navy SEAL,
Yeah.
NSW, this really ain't that big a deal. We'll
You're
figure it
right.
out.
Yeah. And I mean, you know how the military is. They're 10 years behind everything when it comes to
Oh,
technology or whatever else. I mean,
it really is. It
yeah,
really is.
it'll work. Hey, it's amazing that anything in the military even really works like it's
Right.
supposed to. So when
Right.
people's getting mad about that, I just kind of laugh like, okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So you guys started in 2020 around COVID, right?
Yeah. The first
Okay.
episode was called Coronavirus with Lyme.
That's right.
seemed like a
That's
good idea
right.
at the time.
That's right. Yeah,
Hey,
that's
that's
right.
a great.
Well, we started not till 2021.
Okay.
January, right after the
January.
first of the year. So Jamie did some stuff with actually another military kind of podcast on Facebook. It was called Out of the Uniform with the Savage Squad. So there are a bunch of Navy recruiters highlighting military, any branch that can do other things besides military, like outside the uniform, whether they're good at it, whether
Comedians, artists, yeah.
entrepreneurs of any type.
That's cool.
So I started watching that and I was like, holy shit, this is cool. And this was back in COVID. That about the same time y'all started, probably. When did y'all start? May?
Yeah, we started, I think June.
June of 20. So so they were like, I mean, that was like really a good idea and it was new. And I was like, man, this is really cool. And I admired it. That's the only podcast I'd watch. I would go outside, get drunk and smoke a cigar while they were
There you
on
go.
and watch it on my iPhone. And I was like, man, I could do this. But I never thought about it until Jamie goes, hey, you want to do a podcast? At the time, I mentioned this before. I was tired of turning on the damn TV and seeing nothing but bullshit.
Oh yeah. It's
I
terrible.
got burned out. I got tired of seeing all the politics, all the hate. I just put me in a bad mood. So I started feeling it, right?
Mhm.
And so we did this. And I'll tell you what, I've turned around. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't care what the hell's happening out there. There's nothing I can do about it. So
It's amazing how something like that can, you wouldn't even think about it. And, I don't know. The podcast that he and I do, I mean, we've always been pretty close. I mean, we have an age gap. That's kind of one of the dynamics of the show, for anybody who doesn't know, it's, I'm 8 years older than him.
Yeah.
So it's almost like we're from completely different generations. It feels
yeah.
like sometimes. But that's kind of what makes it interesting. And we've always been pretty close, but I was out of the house pretty young. So, there's still times where I feel like, oh, I think I learned something new about my brother today that I didn't really know. And, he reminds me constantly how old I am. So it's always
right.
fun.
I see
But,
that. I see that a lot. I hear that.
Yeah. But it's, it's part of the show. And I used to be the young guy, kind of calling the old guys old. So it's good. It's all good.
I relate because our sons are almost 7 years apart.
Okay.
And it's night and day. They fight like, oh my goodness, is constant because one's 17, one's 10.
Oh boy.
And, it's something else. And y'all give each other shit, or Kurt gives you shit by being old. Dude, I'm like 10 years older than you almost. So
well, it makes me feel better.
I'm like, because I just turned 45. You just turned 37, correct?
39.
Oh, 39. Okay.
We're closer. Yeah, we're close. Big ones next year, man.
Yeah. So I'm like, damn, if I talked to him, he'd think I was ancient. Because I've been in the Navy 25 years.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. Most of the people I know are my age, around my age, a little bit, maybe a little younger, a couple years, but I don't know, man. I have to ask him sometimes about some of this stuff because I don't know, man. I'm starting to feel like my dad sometimes, or like, can you explain this to me? Of like, what is this? And what does it mean? Like, we got in this whole argument about a rapper one time that I had never heard of, and he died. And I had literally never heard of this guy, and he couldn't believe it. He could not believe that I had never heard of this particular artist. But
I think I know who you're talking about. I think he was from around these neck of the woods, New Orleans. If it's the same guy.
Mac Miller?
Nah, maybe not. Maybe not. Because there was a guy, the rapper, that died recently from this neck of the woods. I didn't know
Oh,
who he was
okay.
either.
There's
Yeah.
some letters and numbers. in
Yeah,
his-
letters and
Some of
numbers. Yeah.
DMX.
No,
Not DMX. I knew who DMX was.
Yeah.
That's from the 99 and the 2000s. We
Yeah,
know DMX.
I know
So
DMX.
from the 9 of the two. Hey, there we go. Party like
So-
it's 1999.
Yeah,
So Jamie joined in 05,
I
right?
did. Yes, in 2005.
She was an air traffic controller. You ever dealt with those people?
Oof. Detail oriented. I like it though to make my plane land. I don't want to
Yeah, prima
fly
donna.
into another plane.
We're
Pre-
not, but we're not
prima
prima
donnas.
donnas. We just, I mean, we don't do any maintenance as far as our equipment goes. And Heath is the person that fixes the equipment. So when it's broken, we just want it fixed. That's it.
But it's usually broken because they drop coffee or monsters in it or something. That's the reason.
Damn,
it's
that
always
sounds
broken.
that sounds like a pilot to me.
Yeah,
um,
same.
be-
Same.
Because funny enough, that wanted to go be a helicopter pilot. Part of the reason I wanted to do that was because we had a guy who he crossed over into RMOS in the Army. He was already a warrant officer and he was a helicopter pilot. And he would tell me some of the funniest stories about because he used to be a crew chief and then he got his commission and became a pilot. And he said like his the head crew chief, would come out and be talking about something with his helicopter, be like, hey, be careful doing this. Or he'd be like, hey man, just fix my helicopter, okay? That's your job. My job's to fly it, your job's to fix it. And I used to do your job, so now you go do your job and I go do my job.
Yeah,
But,
just fix it.
Yeah, just fix it. I don't want to have this whole conversation.
Dude, that warrant officer program was a good deal. I remember them advertising the hell out of it in the
Man,
early
that's-
2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a sweet gig. I'd have definitely stayed in if I could have picked up warrant officer.
They
It's
were-
CW3. You make the same thing as like a lieutenant colonel. Like,
dude,
okay,
you get paid. Warrant
Wow.
officers get paid. Yeah, because they were going from like E5 in the Navy to green, blue to green program, they called it. Go from Navy blue
Mhm.
to warrant officer, Army green, right? And I mean, I intrigued me. I thought it was pretty cool. I can go from a junior enlisted guy to a warrant officer. In the Navy, a warrant officer is a big deal. You can't be in the Navy, you got to be an E7 to go warrant. You
yeah.
can't-
Well,
you
that's where
can't-
the Army got the whole idea of warrant officers from. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's pretty cool. So I was hitting up Kurt the other day. I know I told him I listened to y'all's last show and I told him it was good job on it. He was like, man, we're hit that ceiling.
Yeah, we're
Plateau.
plateauing a little bit.
Feel you, man. You get there, you think, oh, I'm doing it. And then all of a sudden it's kind of almost stagnant for a certain time. Is that where y'all at right now?
Yeah, we've gotten to where our numbers just kept steady climbing, and then we had one month where they didn't climb as much, but they were still up,
Right.
and then we had another month where it was pretty flat, and we've just been stuck in this flat zone. We even dipped a little bit one month. We were able to come back the next month.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I don't know if it's just advertising. I don't know if I want to buy ads or not, but
Yeah.
he and I have been kind of going back and forth on it. And I still feel like at the end of the day, word of mouth still is king for getting people to
Yeah.
listen, but I don't know, maybe not so much.
What do you think, Jamie? I know that. Go ahead.
Well, I think, with COVID, it shot everybody's numbers up because everybody was home and everybody was, sitting at home and popping up podcasts left and right. And so it was new and exciting. And then you had your loyal people that carried through. And now that things are opening back up and live bands are starting and all of this, podcasting's kind of going, I won't say to the wayside because people still avidly listen, runners, people that commute and that sort of stuff. But I would say with the number of podcasters that we have today, and then the country opening up, I think we'll see some numbers slip.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it may just be a matter of you're going to have probably a bunch of shows stop once
Yeah.
they've seen that the numbers aren't really moving. And I think it may be just a battle of attrition, hopefully just hang in there long enough. And, anybody who's looked at podcasts, you had to kind of feel like the bubble was going to burst
Yeah.
Mhm.
eventually. And that's probably what we're kind of experiencing right now a little bit. But I think if you just stay in and keep chugging along, and if you keep delivering a show when you say you'll deliver a show, I think that people will be there and they'll come back around. But yeah, that's kind of funny. It's a pretty good point about COVID though. It makes a lot of sense.
It's funny too. Not funny, I guess, but good about y'all's show is that you two are brothers, whether you're doing the podcast or not, you're still going to have that relationship. And so you still have fun talking, and we're married and we're husband and wife. And whether anybody listens or not, we're having fun talking.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, who cares?
That's
if they
true.
listen or
Yeah. I
not?
mean, and
It's-
getting to hang out with them once a week and do the show, and we do a little pre-meeting before the show and stuff, and just hanging out, and it's nice. My life's a lot more hectic than his is, with kids and
Yeah.
everything else, but
Right.
yeah, that's a good point. I mean, and we enjoy doing it. I'm just hoping maybe some of these other shows drop out, that people are looking for something to
Right.
listen to. They come
Right.
scroll your way or my way, and then we pick up some of these
Exactly.
listeners.
Stragglers. The low hanging
Straggler.
fruit.
Right.
So if you're listening and you are looking for a new
Yeah,
podcast,
it's us.
Yeah.
It's us. So I know that you and Kurt jumped into some he's highlighting a lot of people with this label he's working with. There's the rappers and the promoter. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, that's Kurt for you though.
Yeah.
He's going to get his fingers in a lot of pies. It feels like, but hey, I say good for him. He's always been really interested in music, and he loves
Yeah.
hip hop and stuff like that. I think it's a good avenue. And, we used to live kind of in the Atlanta area.
Right.
We're more in Middle Georgia now, but
Okay.
it's a huge hip hop scene up there, and I think it's pretty cool.
yeah.
He's had
Yeah.
some pretty good interviews.
He
lately.
has. He has. No, he had the rapper, the indie rapper or
Mhm.
independent guy, and then that promoter that was a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Mhm.
No, it was good. And I thought, wow, I didn't expect it. I was looking for some shit talking with the brothers, but I got that, which I was happy. It was good too. He's actually a pretty damn good interviewer, actually.
He's not bad. He doesn't think he is, but I keep telling him, like, dude, you're doing a great job. I mean, just you keep it loose, you keep it natural. It's like a conversation, and people don't want somebody with a index card going, okay, tell me about a time. People don't want to listen to a job interview. They want to listen to two people, hanging out and just having a conversation.
BSing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly. And I know I listened to y'all show, and y'all Kirk talked about how and I heard you talk about it too. Y'all had a script at first.
We did. We used to get real detailed. Well, I say I did. That was kind of my contribution, is I'd write the
Yeah.
outline every
Yeah.
week. And I used to get very detailed because I kind of am that kind of person.
Right.
And I said, I was like, this isn't working. I was listening to some of the shows, and I was like, it's too forced. It's not natural. It doesn't feel organic. Because he'd even say, we need to get into it a little bit more. I'm like, I don't mind fighting on the show as long as it's natural. Because if
Yeah.
it's not, people are gonna know, and you're just
Yeah.
Right.
it's not gonna feel authentic. And I think we're pretty good at fighting on the show now. So
No, it's good. It's legit. I mean, he gets butthurt.
it's
real
very
quick.
legit. Yeah. Oh yeah. He gets so spun up. I love it.
So has there ever been a time where y'all finish recording and then not talk to each other for a couple of days?
No, we try to make sure, we leave it on good terms. We don't ever get too, I would say we've had a couple blow up fights outside of, a podcast where we were like, didn't talk to each other for a little bit, but now on the show, we try to, we might get into it. We'll be like, yeah, that was fun. Or we'll crack a little joke, or we'll drink a beer or something afterwards, and everything's good. We can be a little sensitive sometimes. I think we're just getting older, and it's just not as, when you're younger and you're all like, man, you ain't gonna say that about me. You're gonna get all puffed
Yeah.
up and stuff.
Mhm.
And,
Mhm.
plus it's just, I think, it's just fun at this point. It's more fun than it is getting personal and stuff, but
Mhm.
I still make sure to get some deep ribs on them though every once in a while.
Some jabs.
You gotta keep them honest,
Yeah, right. Definitely. I was a scripted type person when we first started.
Yes.
Oh man, I was like, it's gotta be like this. And then I noticed that
And then he would be like reading the notes on the table, and I'm
Mhm.
like, you got to stop reading the notes because you're not even listening to what they're saying.
I got that. Like I was so worried about the script, I wasn't hearing what the daggum guy was saying. And then it screwed me up. So what I do now, I might write an outline, but I might just
Yep.
glance at it real quick. And if I don't do it, I don't do it. If they answer the question that's in the outline, they used to freak me out. Damn, they answered the question I was going to ask. Well, so what?
He
Oh.
was like, crickets. Crickets.
So what?
Crickets.
I just start mouth breathing. Cricket.
Oh yeah, that is a lonely feeling. I mean, on the first few episodes, I can remember I would have thought I had enough for 30 minutes, and I'd be like looking at him like doing the like, what time is it, Redder? He's like 10 minutes, and I'm like, 10 minutes, holy shit. It's like got 20 more minutes to fill. Yeah, so we had a couple of episodes at the beginning where we're like, okay, we got to like a rough outline, give me some bullet points, keep it on track. We try to segment the show a little bit, but it was a good point about missing stuff, because I noticed that too. If I'm sitting there reading off this paper, I missed things in the conversation that we were having, little things I could have picked up on or explored, or avenues you could have went down, or
Right.
something like that. And you just don't get that when you're reading off a sheet of paper. So
Definitely.
So the segments, you mentioned the segments, because I did have a question about this. And when did y'all start doing those segments, and how did y'all come up with that idea? Because that's like super professional. You know what I mean? It takes you to that next level.
yeah, we kind of naturally found that throughout an episode, we'd have enough time for really maybe 3 or 4 segments worth of whatever. We try not to limit it, but try to keep each segment, anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes or something. But we got, I kind of, we had a meeting, I think it was after the first year. It was after the end of 2020. We were talking about the show, and I was like, man, maybe we should focus on something one week. We focus on something the next week. We just kind of go back and forth, and we'll do a beer review one week. We'll do a movie review the next week. We'll do, we talked about some of the things that we've done on the show, that we had fun with, or that we got good reaction and response from. And then Kurt went from there, and he created all the drops and everything that you hear on the show. So he's pretty talented with all that kind of stuff. And we're kind of in a little bit of a transition now, because with the numbers being what they are, I was thinking, maybe we mix it up a little bit again, try to keep it fresh, something like that. I think, you don't want to get stale.
No.
Which with your show, I mean, you always got guests, or you can get guests and stuff like that. It keeps it kind of fresh for you. It's tougher, I think, a little bit for us, because I'm looking over at him, he's looking over at me, and it's like, well, this is it. What are we gonna do? Like, let's figure out something to talk about, something to do.
No, I like it, because I remember last episode, I think you did the one I listened to last Friday, you did the speed review.
Oh yeah.
Now, it was good, because it wasn't
Oh,
super
God.
it wasn't super boring. It was entertaining, because y'all talked about, y'all like how I brought Keanu Reeves back to when he first started, like he talking about like
Yeah.
the Matrix and all the other shows he did back in the day, Bill and Ted, and how he evolved. Like we're talking about Dennis Hopper being the lead guy and when that show, we didn't think in '94 Dennis Hopper was the shit.
Oh yeah, dude, he got paid more than Keanu Reeves did for that movie. I guarantee anything. He was the star.
Wow.
You think about it, I don't remember that until you bring it up. I'm like, you damn right. It takes me back a little bit, that's the year I graduated high school. So it takes me back to when I was 17, 18 years
Way
old.
back.
Long ass time ago, you know what I'm saying, man? So
94.
yeah, I remember being young. Now I'm old as hell, but that took me back to that time when Dennis Hopper, I was like, damn, Dennis Hopper just moved. We gotta go watch it. You would never say that now.
No, he was so good in that movie
He's
too.
dead now. Is he dead?
I don't know. Is he dead? I just rewatched Entourage again the other day, and he's in one of the episodes. That's, I mean, that shit.
Dennis
That's
Hopper. That's who I'm wondering.
Easy Rider.
Easy Rider.
No, don't know.
Oh,
See, this is
Man.
why I could never be on a cool show like pop culture or anything, or play Jeopardy, because he would be so mad.
Dennis Hopper's he's just a legend.
He was
Oh
in
yeah, and then
Hoosiers.
Oh, the Hoosiers.
yeah,
I
he
know
was the
Hoosiers.
alcoholic. Was the alcoholic father or whatever.
The drunk
Yeah.
father, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then
in Hoosiers.
well, I mean, of course, Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse
he was a
Now was one of his
reporter.
first ones, right?
Yeah, he was a reporter in that movie.
Yep.
He was like embedded with that guy's
Yeah.
unit or whatever.
I haven't seen that movie in 20 years, but yeah, he was in Apocalypse Now. He
It's
was in
still
some
weird.
big flicks.
Yeah, Dennis Hopper was he was a name. They probably had to pull some strings to get him.
Remember him? I mean, I saw Waterworld the other day with Kevin Costner.
God.
You know what I'm talking about?
Why did you watch that movie? That movie is
Dude,
awful.
I like it.
It's
It.
just-
But Dennis Hopper's in there.
do you know it's funny? Kurt and I actually were talking. I don't know. Did we talk about that on the show that he was in Waterworld? I don't think so. We were talking about the show. We were on the phone just talking, and I told him about how he was in Waterworld, and he was just funny. He was just funny in that movie
Yeah.
with because he played golf or whatever.
Yeah, he was that lunatic freaking bad guy.
Yeah, he like
Yeah.
lost his eye. And he
Yeah,
was like,
and
well, I
that
hope it
somebody
doesn't affect my short game or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Just little stuff like that you could tell was totally improv.
Yeah.
You know, he improv that line.
Oh, he
'cause
improv the hell out of it.
Kevin
Yeah.
Costner didn't write that shit in there.
No, hell no. He didn't.
No.
But yeah, I love y'all's review. I love your alcohol reviews or your beer reviews because
But why is that light on?
well,
We just lost power.
I don't know. Gosh. We'll send another link real quick.
Just tell them we lost power, but we can